Sean Tarzan Strickland.
Fuck you, like you're a good father, I hate you, you know. I'm an asshole, and Jack, you're looking at a fellow asshole, like, yeah, like that mutual respect, you know?
One thing that we've learned from the past is that you can't play around in the UFC octagon.
I think Anderson will be goated in.
Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
When a competitor fights at this level, every opponent has the potential to capitalize on any tiny mistake and score a knockout victory. Just ask Anderson Silva, who learned that the hard way against Chris Weidman.
Anderson. Oh, he got hit!
Yet, there are UFC fighters who can't help but taunt their opponents and trash talk them during the fight.
Said, I'm going to take it down. He's never been taken down in the UFC.
A few examples that come to our mind are the Diaz brothers, or even Khabib, who talked to McGregor while smashing him with ground and pound punches. Meet Sean Strickland, another example of a UFC fighter who fights like crazy, taunts the opponents, and trashes their skills without any concern about getting hurt during the fight.
Steroids aren't true, but the jerking off the cartoons is true, so.
He is one of the most exciting fighters to watch, whose character and charisma even exceed his performances in the octagon. We will look at Sean Strickland's career and analyze how his fighting style made him the fan-favorite fighter he is today. Strickland was a problematic kid who constantly got involved in trouble. The root of his anger was the unhealthy household he grew up in, where his father was physically and mentally abusive, ultimately leading to Sean getting kicked out of every school he attended. In the 9th grade, after getting kicked out of school for committing a hate crime, his mother decided to take him to an MMA gym, where he could work out his problems. Growing up in such an environment also led to another thing that Strickland is not proud to remember today. The American has admitted to being a neo-Nazi during his youth. His fascination with neo-Nazi ideology grew when he saw American History X, released on October 30th, 1998. However, just like the movie's main character, Derek Vineyard, Sean also gave up on this ideology after befriending people of different races who helped him during his difficult times. Thanks to MMA, Strickland's life took a different direction, away from troubles and the unavoidable downfall. He began training in MMA in 2005, and later in his career, he openly admitted that this sport saved his life. Fighting gives me purpose. If I wasn't in the UFC, I'd probably be cooking meth in a trailer in prison. I'm grateful for the fans, to the UFC, you guys that gave me purpose. And I appreciate that, Sean said in a post-fight interview. After training in this sport, and primarily developing his style in boxing, Sean Strickland made his MMA debut on March 22, 2008, with the King of the Cage organization. The American went on a 6-fight winning streak with this company, scoring 3 knockouts and 3 submissions before earning his title shot. On December 17, 2011, Strickland was scheduled to face Brandon Hunt, with the KOTC middleweight championship title on the line. Both fighters started that bout cautiously, respecting each other's skills on the feet, avoiding starting a heated exchange of strikes. Although Sean is primarily a boxer, he shot for a takedown and started punishing Hunt with ground and pound strikes. After a few scrambles, Strickland was in a top position, delivering bombs, and after many unanswered punches, the referee stopped the fight. The two athletes were scheduled for an immediate rematch in the following year. But the second bout was almost identical to the first, as Strickland TKO'd Brandon in the first round again. In his second title defense, the American faced Josh Bryant and won a close split decision victory. He quickly returned to action and reminded everyone of his finishing skills when he fought Bill Albrecht next, knocking him out in the first. Sean then fought the Japanese fighter Yusuke Sakashita and won the bout unanimously before having his last fight on the KOTC contract against Matt Lagler. In a fight that was his 5th title defense, Strickland scored a stunning TKO victory in the closing seconds of the first round, turning his professional MMA record to 13-0. After beating everyone that the King of the Cage organization put in front of him, Tarzan finally appeared on the UFC's radar, where he had his debut fight on March 15, 2014. Sean Strickland was welcomed in the UFC by Bubba McDaniel in the UFC 171 event. McDaniel is a solid grappler who is notorious for his submission skills. It was apparent Sean's best game plan would have been to keep the fight standing, where he could pick the opponent apart with his boxing. However, Tarzan had a different plan that night. He wanted to make a statement and challenge Bubba in his own game, the grappling department. After securing a side control position, Strickland gave the opponent an opening to get up, which was a false sense of security to fall into a trap. Sean fluidly took Bubba's back and got him into a tight rear naked choke, forcing him to tap. Despite primarily being a boxer, Strickland made a statement and proved that he is a complete fighter who can end the fight wherever it goes. In his second bout, Sean fought Luke Barnett.
Awkwardness of Luke Barnett's fighting style. Oh, and a nice exchange there. Strickland shooting in, gets a body lock, and Luke Barnett's on his back.
And although his performance was not as impressive this time, he edged the Englishman on the judges' scorecards. On February 22nd, 2015, Tarzan made his welterweight debut against Santiago Ponzinibbio. The enormous weight cut seemed to have a significant role in this bout,
Ponzinibbio ducks the head, lands the left hand.
as the Argentinian won a unanimous decision victory,
So Sean Strickland eats a big right hand there.
causing Strickland his first professional loss.
Santiago,
The American adjusted to the new weight class and was determined to put his first loss behind. In his next bout against Igor Araujo, Tarzan displayed a dominant performance and won the fight via unanimous decision.
The winner by unanimous decision, Sean.
On February 21st, 2016, Sean Strickland was scheduled to fight Alex Garcia next. And this time, no judges were needed. After overwhelming the Dominican fighter for 3 rounds, Alex was visibly shaken by the end of the third, and his gas tank was running low. In the closing minute of the fight, after staffing a takedown, Strickland went after Alex with a fury of punches without giving him any space to breathe. After absorbing multiple unanswered shots,
Garcia's hurt bad. Strickland, Sean Strickland with a massive KO.
the Dominican was finally knocked down, forcing the referee to wave the fight off. In less than 4 months, Tarzan was back to action against the undefeated English prospect and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Tom Breeze.
C welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
The Englishman proved to be a hard pill to swallow and fought well,
These guys could be mirror images of each other.
so they went to the judge's decision.
Third, Strickland has controlled the center of the octagon more.
Although Breeze had some excellent moments during the fight, the American was slightly the better fighter that night and edged him on the judges' scorecards,
Winner by split decision, Sean.
winning a close split decision victory.
Hey guys, I want to apologize right now. I'm sorry about that. Next one will be better.
On April 8, 2017, Strickland was scheduled to fight the future champ, Kamaru Usman. The Nigerian Nightmare was Sean's most formidable opponent up to that point.
There he's in the green trunks. Sean Strickland in white.
Kamaru was the aggressor in that bout as he kept the American on his back foot,
Usman made a couple of those right hands count.
pressuring him against the cage. He implemented his superior wrestling to neutralize Sean's stand-up and kept punishing him
This though would certainly be
with heavy ground and pound strikes.
and he kicks. You can't see out of his left eye.
Strickland's game plan failed as he kept backing down while trying to catch Usman with a counter-strike and was too worried about the takedowns,
At this point in time, if I'm Strickland and I'm backing up, I gotta look for uppercuts.
which prevented him from entirely focusing on his striking. Usman won that fight via unanimous decision, and Tarzan learned that in order to compete at the highest level, he had to work and improve his takedown defense and grappling skills overall.
That just shows I'm on another level.
Sean returned in the octagon against the dangerous striker Court McGee
Court McGee is a veteran. He's a legend in the sport. Everybody knows his story.
and won that fight unanimously.
Gets his own big takedown here.
However, in his next bout against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, he was knocked out spectacularly by the capoeira specialist in front of the Brazilian crowd. Losing 2 of his last 3 bouts did not prevent the American from achieving his goal of becoming a top UFC contender. He was eager to return and prove that his previous 2 losses do not define him as a fighter. On October 27, 2018, he was scheduled to face Nourdine Talib in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. Strickland took the center of the octagon and was the aggressor as he kept pressuring the Canadian fighter and tagging him with punches.
That was a good jab.
Sean wasn't doing anything reckless, but rather used jabs and 1-2 combos to overwhelm Talib and wear him down as the fight progressed. Sure enough, after a beautiful 1-2 combo in the second round, the Canadian was wobbled and Strickland delivered a solid overhand right that dropped Talib down.
Good tri-star fighter's got a wicked power double. See if he's under this kind of... Oh! Right from Strickland! Look at that! That drops Talib!
The Canadian showed toughness and determination.
Who tries to explode right back to his feet, and he does.
So he got up to his feet despite being visibly hurt. Tarzan smelled blood and pushed forward with a barrage of punches without giving the opponent time to recover. After absorbing too many shots, Talib was knocked down with a big right hand.
Bad, he does not have his wits about. Big right now, and another one.
And Sean went after him for the kill.
Just like that, living right direct.
After consecutive ground and pound strikes, the referee was forced to stop the fight and declare Strickland the winner.
Playing the winner by TKO, Sean!
About 2 months after the fight, Sean was hit by a car while riding his motorcycle in Los Angeles, leaving him unconscious. After the accident, he suffered numerous injuries and needed knee surgery that prevented him from competing for almost 2 years.
Whenever I first had my accident, I had a lot of doctors telling me that, hey, you can fight for sure, but you probably shouldn't fight.
He finally returned to the octagon on October 31st, 2020, to face the Welsh fighter, Jack Marshman.
The Hammer Marsh!
Sure enough, he returned in style. Strickland controlled that fight and was the better fighter overall.
And then you feel the power diminish throughout training camp, and then that affects your confidence as well.
In the closing seconds of the bout, Strickland, being Strickland, started to shout and taunt Jack.
Well, Strickland said it in round number 2. Marshman shot a trick for a chin.
Mocking him for not having the courage to accept a brawl, by constantly shouting at him while challenging Jack to get into a heated exchange of strikes.
The center, put together a combination.
Here we go, the talking. Well, Sean's talking anyway.
Strickland gained a lot of attention from the fans, who truly loved that unusual behavior.
He's bringing Marshman right into the brawl here.
Oh, look at that.
Jack managed to survive the onslaught, but lost the bout unanimously.
Good jobs.
Yeah, it's becoming a fight now.
Nevertheless, on which Strickland reacted, "Jack, why is your head made of steel?"
Jack, why is your head made of steel?
Winner by unanimous decision.
Tarzan faced the young and one of the most talented UFC fighters, Brendan Allen, a fighter who is a solid striker with superior grappling credentials.
Brendan Allen.
Although Allen fought well, Sean implemented his game plan better. Sean kept tagging the opponent with punching combos, wearing him down and hurting him throughout the fight.
From Strickland. Oh, front kick, catches the chin. Heavy shots from each side.
Finally, in the third, after delivering a beautiful 1-2 combo, followed by a left hook, Strickland dropped Brendan down,
Another jab. 1-2 on that one, Allen.
who was badly hurt from all the damage he absorbed. Tarzan followed and finished him with strikes, earning another stunning TKO victory and a performance of the night bonus.
He like thanked his kids, and in my mind I'm like, fuck you, like you're a good father, I hate you, you know.
On May 1, 2021, Strickland faced the tough Polish competitor and UFC veteran Krzysztof Jotko, who was on a 3-fight winning streak. The Polish fighter had nothing on the feet for Sean, who implemented his superior boxing and was winning the striking exchanges throughout the fight. Jotko was too tough to give up and survived the fight to hear the final bell, and the American was granted the unanimous decision victory. In his next bout, Tarzan was scheduled to fight one of the most dangerous strikers in UFC history, Uriah Hall. Sean knew that one mistake is all it takes for Hall to shove his lights off.
Nice right hand by Uriah. Well, Uriah's got the more diverse skill set. He's got good knees and kicks and things like that.
Since the Jamaican fighter was responsible for one of the scariest knockouts in UFC history, Strickland used a smart strategy to keep pace and constantly pressured Uriah in an attempt to prevent him from using his kicking techniques.
Definitely slowed down in terms of the output in round number 2.
The American utilized his boxing to punish Hall with combos throughout the fight and simultaneously avoid a high kick or a spinning back kick that could potentially knock him out. In the third round, Sean mixed his striking with wrestling and took Uriah Hall down,
covering the nose. As long as he doesn't put fingers in the eyes, he's okay.
Where he took his back and almost finished the Jamaican with a submission.
And now it's just survival time for Hall to make it to the corner.
However, the fight went to the judges' scores, and by displaying a dominant performance, Strickland was declared the winner again.
Unanimous decision, Sean.
On February 5, 2022, Sean was matched against one of the most dangerous submission artists in the division, Jack Hermansson. However, the Scandinavian fighter could not take Strickland down.
If Jack struggles now, I don't think that's going to get any better as the fight goes on.
And possessing a BJJ black belt in this bout against the American was the same as having a free toy in his pocket.
Avoids punches, he gets out of the way, he moves just enough.
Sean defended the takedowns and kept the fight standing.
Easy defense for Strickland on the takedown attempt from Hermansson.
Constantly punishing the opponent with boxing combos. Hermansson refused to get into a brawl and was losing the stand-up exchange against a fighter who is obviously the better striker.
Lowering his hips, there's a nice body shot.
It almost looks like Strickland has something against people named Jack. Just like against the last Jack he fought, Tarzan yelled at Jack Hermansson in the closing seconds of the bout, taunting him for not having the courage to accept a brawl.
Started talking to him, calling him out, saying, right here. Why didn't we see more of that?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds.
After 5 rounds of action, Sean Strickland was declared the winner.
We go to the judges' scorecards for a decision.
Moving to a 6-fight winning streak. At this point, it seemed that it was only a matter of time before the American fights for the title. He was only a fight or 2 away to earn his title shot, but sadly for him, his next bout did not go as planned. On July 2nd, 2022, Strickland was locked in the cage against one of the scariest strikers in UFC history, Alex Pereira. Instead of closing the distance and mixing his grappling with striking to avoid Pereira's power, Sean's spite and ego got the better of him as he decided to go toe-to-toe against the Brazilian.
Sean Strickland pushes the pace, moving forward. He won't stop that. Very interesting.
Pereira saw an opening and delivered his signature left hook that knocked Strickland down.
Good, because he's...
Forcing the referee to stop the fight, to stand and exchange strikes with one of the best kickboxers the UFC has ever seen.
Cannot stand in front of that man.
Some would call it bold and courageous, but others would call it foolish.
You cannot play this game with this guy. Maybe grab him, maybe try to wrestle him a little bit. Look at what happened.
Sean's winning streak was broken, and his name was out of the title picture, at least for now. At the end of 2022, Tarzan fought against Jared Cannonier. Jared appeared to be slightly the better fighter in a fight that lacked action as he edged Sean on the judges' scorecards, causing him his 2nd loss in a row. However, Sean redeemed himself with a gangster move that deserves respect and admiration.
UFC, you guys paid me a lot of money to take this fight on short notice.
He accepted a fight on a few weeks' notice against one of the most dangerous athletes in the division, Nassourdine Imavov. Replacing Kelvin Gastelum in a light heavyweight bout on January 14, 2023. Despite lacking a full camp and preparation, the American showed Imavov why there are levels in this game. He was the superior fighter overall and won the striking exchange to win a unanimous decision against a fighter on a 3-fight winning streak.
Sean Strickland единогласным решением, браво.
Although Sean Strickland never won or fought for the UFC title, his ability to deliver exciting performances.
I know judges cartoon porn addiction. I'm not gonna be that guy.
And trash talk opponents mid-fight gained him millions of fans worldwide.
You drive a big lifted truck, your dick's about this big, let's go.
He is always interesting on the microphone and is hilarious at each press conference he attends.
Jesus Christ, you guys are mean. Well, yeah. No, I need to calm down.
His social media is constantly bombed with funny videos. And regardless if he ever becomes a UFC champion or not, Sean Strickland will always be remembered as one of the most entertaining fighters in MMA history.